Hello, my name is Lisa Carr and I'm testifying on They Overcame By. And this is my story of what brought me from there to here. Was there from there to here? Well, picture this, a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old. Girl, your hair looked like 10,000 ants coming up the hill with their fists balled up. Or, go over there and comb your hair. I want one of those pop me in my eye and blind me. That's the type of thing that I grew up. This is a hair story if you haven't guessed by now. But this is my story. I'm a natural stylist and just want to tell you a little bit about how that came about. I grew up with those statements about my hair, those negative statements. It didn't feel good, and I didn't feel good about my hair. Not really. Mom kept my hair done until I was about 12 years old, and mostly she kept it in braids. There were times when my scalp was like white as snow, and she would put together her old remedies with the hair grease and dog mange and pour it in there and stir it up and put it on my scalp. It actually did heal my scalp. And then by the time I got to 13, she let me start doing my own hair. It didn't go too good. I was very tender-headed. And prior to that, we would have fights about her pressing my hair, hit me on the head with the brush if I didn't be still, and I was just tender-headed. And so when I started doing my own hair, I didn't know about combing it while it was wet, putting the conditioner on it, combing it through. And so I let it dry, tried to comb it. It wasn't working. By the time I was 13, I was begging, pleading with my mother to put a relaxer in my head. And she gave in, and she did it. My hair was probably about down to here. It was really pretty. And it was gone within 2 months because she didn't know, not being a professional stylist, that she needed to do a retouch. I have a very tight curl pattern, as you can see, and a lovely curl pattern, I might say. But she didn't know to put the retouch in within 6 to 8 weeks, and so my hair started breaking. So I had all this long hair, and in the middle, it was gone, down to the scalp almost. So I looked like Bozo. And I was tired of trying to hide it. I said, Mom, please, please, please let me cut my hair. Please let me cut it. No, Lisa, no. One day I called her when she was sleeping. I don't care what you do with it. And I got the scissors and I chopped it all off. The next day she looked at it. She's like, that's not going to work. And she just took the clippers and just cut it all off. So I was 14 years old by that time. And I had hair that was maybe that long. And back in the 70s, nobody was wearing their hair natural. And as a 14-year-old, I didn't want it to be seen. So I wore a scarf, summer, winter, fall, till it grew out. Not just a scarf and a hat. I'm gonna fast forward. I went to school during my high school years. I decided to take cosmetology. And so I became a cosmetologist by the age of 18 and had my first job in a beauty salon. I moved to Atlanta from Ohio. I'm originally from Ohio. And I was working at Rich's Beauty Salon out at the mall. And by this time, I became a Christian, a Sabbath-keeping Christian. And when that happened, I lost my job. Well, I decided this is never going to happen again. I'll become a nurse. I'm going to be in demand. I won't have to worry about the Sabbath. And so I decided to go to school for nursing. Did you hear that? I decided to go to school for nursing. So I moved back home with my mom in Ohio. And I started praying. Well, I was going to put in my application at the community college. But God said, did you ask me? And I said, well, I thought I did. Well, no, he said, well, you said you were going to ask me about everything when you became a Christian. I said, yeah, I did say that. Well, Lord, what you want me to do? Where you want me to go? Oakwood. No, I know he didn't say Oakwood. And so I kept praying about it. Every time I prayed, Oakwood, Oakwood. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, let me back up a little bit. I grew up in going to public schools. I'm the first Seventh-day Adventist in my family. And my experience had been wherever there was a lot of black people around, there was trouble. And I definitely did not want to go to an all-black college. I was used to being in mixed schools. And I had heard that Oakwood was an all-black college. And so I said, okay, Lord, I know I'm not going to get in anyway, but just to satisfy you, I'm going to go on and go to Oakwood. And so I put in my application, and they said, come on down. I'm like, oh, no, they didn't. Needless to say, I went off to Oakwood, and I was going there applying for nursing, and it just was not working out. I'm like, what is going on? This is not working. I'm not getting the classes. I'm like, okay, Lord, what is happening? And I just started praying a lot. Lord, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And he said, do hair without the use of chemicals. I was like, every time I prayed, it was the same answer. And so I said, okay, let me talk to one of my advisors and see what I need to do, what classes I need to take for that. And as I did, it said, we don't have anything here. There's nothing here that we can do to help you to reach that goal. Well, I was already a licensed cosmetologist in 2 states, Ohio and Georgia. So I said, okay. So I dropped out because every time I prayed, it was the same answer, and they couldn't help me. And between that time that I dropped out and the year of 2000, I did many jobs. I got married. I birthed 4 children. I worked a slew of jobs, nursing homes, janitor, teacher's assistant, a lot of different things. And I didn't think that I would ever do hair again. I'm going to back up just a little bit. Because God told me he wanted me to do hair without the use of chemicals. And so, but so much time had gone by, I let my license lapse because it just wasn't happening in my time. It just wasn't happening in the time frame that I thought. So I'm like, this must be what he did want. He must want something else for me now. And so I had to, if I was going to do that, I had to get my license reinstated. And what I did is I studied. I said, I'm just going to study. I just want to know for sure that this is what God wants. And so I took a year and I just studied. I said, I'm not working anywhere. I'm just going to study cosmetology. I'm going to go take the test, get my license reinstated, and go forward. Well, I did that. And that was about in 1995. And I took a friend and we went to Ohio so I could take the test. Well, while I was at the hotel, while we were at the hotel that night, drove from Alabama to Ohio, somebody pulled the gas line loose on the rental van that we were in. Well, how do I know it was pulled loose? Because when I got up that morning, I was going to take the test, getting ready to go take the test, I saw the gas hand just going like this to empty. Like, what's going on? So I pulled to the gas station and gas was just pouring out of the van. And so we had, since it was a rental, the car dealership came and picked it up. And the man who looked at it had been a mechanic for 20 years. And he said, I've never seen anything like this in my life. He said, it took a lot of pulling to get that loose. So I called State Board. I'm having a problem. I can take a cab. Can I come in a little late? No, ma'am. You can't be late for this test. I said, but I came all the way from Alabama to Ohio. No, ma'am. You can't. You have to be here on time. So that was the end of that. I didn't take the test. And I thought, this is it. Okay, that's my answer. I'm done. I will not be doing hair. I'm finished. I fasted and prayed all the way home. And I said, Lord, okay, I took a year off to do this. And I just didn't have words to say. I mean, I spent gas, time, energy, and it was not working. It obvious I wasn't supposed to do it then. And so the next day I said, I need a job. I've taken a year off to do this, and this is what happened. And I need a job today. He gave me a job that day. I worked as a nanny. I did a whole lot of other jobs from there, but mostly I did home health, caregiving, CNA. And then we moved in 2000, and God started calling me again. I thought it was over in 95. 2000, he starts calling me. I want you to do hair without the use of chemicals. I want you to do hair without. I said, Lord, I know you ain't. I know you're not telling me this. I know you're not telling me to do this again. Oh my goodness. And I just kept feeling the call to do this. And I said, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, I need you to just have somebody ask me to do their hair. I don't think I finished praying good. And the phone was ringing. Your sister-in-law told me that you do hair. I need some braids. And then I got another call. Aunt Lisa, don't you do hair? I need my hair done. I was like, okay, Jesus. Okay. I went, I took the test, and I passed it with flying colors. I never thought when I got fired from my job in Atlanta, it just didn't dawn on me. You can own your own salon. You can set your own hours. It didn't dawn on me. But I'm saying to you right now, when God calls you to do something, he's not a man that he should lie. He changeth not. He's the same today, yesterday, and always. He knows the purpose that he has for your life. If you don't know what your purpose is, ask him. He'll tell you. And he don't stutter. So I got my license and I started working. I worked in the salon, Star Beauty in Cleveland. Awesome. I learned how to coil. God taught me he taught me how to braid long before then, but he taught me as I went forward because there was no natural hair care classes. As a matter of fact, they still don't have them in place here in Alabama today like they should be. There's only 2 schools in the state of Alabama where you can get your natural hair care license at this moment. And the laws changed 3 years ago that you have to have one to be a braider now. Anyhow, he blessed me to get my license, and I started walking in that. And everything that I did, every job that I took was about natural hair care. If I worked in a salon, I had to be able to do natural. If I worked anywhere, I was working towards my goal because now I knew my purpose. I knew what God had called me to do. And so everything I did, I geared it towards that. I was leaning towards that. I was working towards that until it came to the time when he said I was working at home, taken out of my garage because my mom was sick. She had cancer. And I opened up the salon in my house. And I was working from there until she passed away. And then God started talking to me and saying it's time to move out. And he told me what to do step by step. He told me put an ad in American Classifieds for 1 year. I said, okay, Lord. I mean, it was $33 a week. So 3 weeks out of the month, I was able to do it. I just budgeted for $99. And I did that for a year. And then he told me, build your website. And so I did that. And by the time I did that, and I had my business cards and word of mouth, so many people started coming. I was like, I gotta get out of this house. Oh my goodness, all these people coming through my house. I gotta get out of the house. And because it was people that I didn't know coming in, and it just was not working anymore. And so I started praying and looking and praying, and God blessed me with the place on Jordan Lane, right there by KFC. And that was my first salon outside of the house. And I stayed there for 3 years. And I learned so much. I trained so many. And it's just been a blessing. And so the main thing that I want to say today is that God has a plan and He has a purpose for each one of us. And I believe that when we know our purpose in life, it gives us a drive. We know what to pray for. We know what to specify and tune our prayers into. If you don't know, ask Him, because He knows the purpose and the plan that He has for you. I'm Lisa Carr. I'm a natural hair care stylist. I'm a hair loss specialist, and I'm a wig maker.